Three of Ukraine's strongest brigades are engaged in a fierce battle against North Korean soldiers and Russian Marines in the Kursk Oblast in western Russia. The attacks are coming from two different angles. The Russians and presumably North Koreans are losing dozens of vehicles, hundreds of people, and possibly more in this catastrophic battle. That doesn't mean the Russians won't win. The Kremlin has built a manpower machine to pump replacement troops into the fight. The machine can't function forever, of course, but there's no sign it'll run out of raw material anytime soon. On the Kursk direction, the enemy has regrouped, the Ukrainian Center for Defense Strategies concluded. A strong Ukrainian force, possibly consisting of a dozen 400-man battalions from 6 brigades, broke past Russian border defenses near Kursk on August 6th and swiftly occupied 400 square miles of the oblast. It appears that Kyiv wanted to gain some territory in Russia to strengthen its negotiating position for any future armistice. Vladimir Putin, the president of Russia, gave his troops an October 1st deadline to retake Kursk, which they clearly failed to meet. However, the salient was steadily eroded by Russian counterattacks, bringing Ukrainian control down to about 270 square miles. Putin is obviously prepared to sacrifice thousands of Russian lives in order to regain the remainder of Kursk. The fact that Republican Donald Trump won the U.S. presidential election on November 5th may have contributed to his heightened feeling of urgency. Prior to his January inauguration, Trump had pledged to put an end to the conflict in Ukraine. The front line would remain in place under Trump's long-term plan, which does not yet have a workable enforcement mechanism. That would result in the loss of 45,000 square miles of occupied territory for Ukraine. Kursk, which is 270 square miles in size, would be lost for Russia. Or, of course, unless Kursk can be retaken by those Russian Marines and their thousands of North Korean comrades before a potential truce. The Russian effort is rushed and sloppy. Barreling toward Ukrainian positions in factory-fresh BTR-82 wheeled armored personnel carriers starting November 7, Russians and allies from the 810th Naval Infantry Brigades have attacked the northern edge of the salient at the same time. The 155th Naval Infantry Brigade, a unit that's notorious for its war crimes, is attacking farther to the west. Three heavily armed Ukrainian formations, the 95th Air Assault Brigade, the 47th Mechanized Brigade with its American-made M1 tanks and M2 fighting vehicles, and the recently reorganized 17th Heavy Mechanized Brigade, are blowing up infantry-laden BTRs nearly as fast as the 810th Naval Infantry Brigade can send them. After a cursory survey of drone videos, open-source intelligence analysts have identified at least 3 BTR graveyards in and around the village of Pogrebki. Graphic footage depicts heaps of dead Russians. But a few BTRs have managed to run the gauntlet of Ukrainian mines, drones, artillery, and missiles to push back the front line more than a mile from its October position. And more Russians and allies are coming. The allies aren't just North Koreans. According to the Center for Defense Strategies, a Russian training facility in occupied Crimea is also funneling mercenaries from African countries and Cuba into the 810th Naval Infantry Brigade.